Guess who it is? I haven't done one of these in forever, but I met this guy on LinkedIn named Dr. Ladd that inspired me to sort of bring this back, these coffee chats live on my LinkedIn and YouTube and Facebook, because he was a true, genuine outreach contact who didn't just go, hey, let's connect. Oh, by the way, I do this. You want to buy my services? He literally was the epitome of the kind of guy I want to be approached by on LinkedIn. No, guys, I am married. It's not that kind of approach. To connect, to collaborate, to partner together, to support each other in our businesses, and it's couldn't be at a better time because we both do the same thing in a different way for women over 40, etc. So let me first introduce you to Dr. Ladd Carlston. We're going to call him Dr. Ladd for short. He is a health and wellness coach who empowers high achieving women 40 plus to feel confident in their health and body image by leveraging a team of experts to optimize results in 90 days. So, okay, y'all are going, wait, so if we know what you do, you're an all-in-one plug-and-play marketing operations and management team. What does that got to do with Dr. Ladd? Well, Dr. Ladd and I both feel that at this time of year especially, those 40 plus women are feeling extra stressed, extra overwhelmed, extra burdened with life, business, family, holidays. And we know the problems that causes in life and business, the stress, the overwhelm. And we both, in our own way, serve women in a way that allows them to get out of that mode, get out of stress, get out of overwhelm, and focus on their life, their business, and their genius in a way that is conducive to growing the business and having a life and being healthy and all of that as well. So, Dr. Ladd, you are going to be the mental, physical health perspective of stress management, overwhelm management. I'm going to be the business, get support, get a team, get this kind of person. So let's hit on you first, because I know we talked a couple times before this chat, and we want to do a quick example of one of your ways of bringing people into focus, at least momentarily, especially if they're in the middle of let's just say they're in the middle of a tizzy because something happened in the business or in life that basically set the world on fire, and now they're stressed out and freaking out. So let's start there. Let's see your goods like right off the bat.
Well, let's do it. I mean, the world can be a really stressful place, and that stressor can trigger our nervous system, specifically our amygdala, that part of our brain that causes us to go into this fight or flight reactive place, which isn't where you want to come from, right?
Right. Absolutely not.
To get out of that lower brain, that more reactive fight or flight part of the brain, and get to a place where we have clarity, creativity, problem solving, that higher part of the brain involves breathing. It can just be as simple as breathing the correct way. So let's do it right now. And those people watching, if you're feeling any tension in your shoulders, if there's any just stress that you're experiencing, do this with us just for a minute. And so you just kind of, sit comfortably, lift the chest a little bit, let that chest come out, and then just take a couple really, really deep breaths in and sigh it out like that. Has to be just kind of a relaxed sigh it out. You're not forcing anything. You just kind of take a deep breath in like that. Yes. And it starts to bring oxygen into those higher centers of the brain. That breath also needs to be just as much as you possibly can. So we'll do a twofold breath to really pull in as much breath as you can. That would look like this. It'd go like this. Like that's a twofold breath. So your next breath you take in, just go ahead and take a really deep breath in, and then breathe in just a little bit more and let it out.
Yeah, that makes your shoulders raise up and everything. It's different than just going You're like
Right. Yes.
you're
Yeah.
like reaching for it, going, "Yeah,
Yeah.
a little extra bit." So, yeah, and
Yes.
the reason why I wanted you to do that, because we talked about this, and I wanted to share it because you brought up a point about breathing. Because I mean, there's lots of people out there that talk about, just breathe, take deep breaths, do this, do that, belly breaths, whatever. The part that I've not heard them talk about, and it may just because I don't like read everything they do, is you brought the whole oxygen thing into it. You're
Mhm.
getting oxygen to the brain, to the important part of the brain that is where your vision comes from, your creativity comes from, and puts you back into the focus and even potentially mindset to get back into a calm place instead of the scattered crazy place that's in a different part of your brain, correct?
Yes, there's 2 different parts of the brain. You're either in the part of the brain where you can see creativity, problem solving, have some clarity, or you're in this just stressful part of the brain where it's limited. The brain is constantly scanning the environment for problems. That's what it's wired to do. That's not what you want to do. You want to have, this part of the brain, this prefrontal cortex where our potential is. You want to be able to tap into that, and the only way you can is with a little bit of extra oxygen, just like you were saying.
That I love that because, like I said, no one has ever, and I've talked to a lot of health gurus over the years. I've worked for health gurus over the years, and breathing, and I've done yoga, and I do a Zen practice, and it's all, there's different ways to breathe. And I don't know that a lot of people understand that first. But then a lot of times they don't really understand it's partly the active breathing because it changes your focus, it changes what you're doing, but it's the oxygen to the brain that I don't think a lot of people really get out there when they talk about it, because they're like, oh, well, it'll change your focus. It'll stop you in your tracks. Yeah. Oh, and it oxygenates your brain, especially the part of brain you want to be living in the moment, not the other part. To really, it's more than just changing focus because you're thinking about your breathing now. It literally is, when done the way you're talking about. It's the oxygen to the brain, to the right part of the brain, that's really going to pull you out of it.
Yeah, and to have some clarity about maybe, oh, wait a second, I need to be doing this in my business, or oh, hey, wait a second, I should be doing this. I mean, it really, with so much stress coming at us from so many different angles, or we'll say stressors. I want to distinguish between two things. There's stressors and then there's stress. Stressors are what's coming at us from the outside. Stress is our experience of those stressors in a negative way.
Right.
So you all know people that they can have stressors come at them, but they don't get stressed. They're the calm amidst the storm. They're cool as a cucumber. Water rolls off their back. That kind of person isn't allowing the stressors to stress them out.
Right.
They're able to stay calm. And so that's the part of the nervous system we want to be in, is that grounded, centered place where we can have some insight about how we can lead differently, how we can manage our businesses differently. So I think it's really a twofold process. It's one, if we can get some clarity and get grounded enough, we can really see things differently. And, somebody can have the realization that, like they should be using your services to get further, and they should get out of the trenches and, pull their head above the water to be the visionary and the leader, and have somebody else do the grunt work, kind of thing.
Absolutely, because that calm and that clarity, especially if they're doing it in the moment, is going to show them, they're like, wait a minute, should I even be doing this thing? I hate doing this thing. That's why I'm stressed out. I don't like doing this. Or, I asked Joe, my son, over here to do it. And, he's just a teenager who doesn't really know what he's doing. And it's a mess. Oh my gosh, what have I gotten myself into? And then they're going into that. But if they stop and do your breathing exercise, and they can go, okay, now I need to sit here and realize they're going to look for a solution. They can look for a solution. They can see it from okay, I just went through this problem. I'm calm now. Let's look for the solution instead of just staying in that problem mode and going down the rabbit hole of Alice in Wonderland, and staying in the moment and being able to go, okay, I got to look at this because I'm killing myself and I am tired of killing myself, running my business, running my life, taking the kids to soccer, doing this, that, and the other. I've got to get a handle on this. And it's both the perspective of the health and wellness, the self care, the breathing exercises, working with someone like you and your team to get a process, a system, and a way of life to be able to deal with the stress on and off, ongoing in a good, healthy way. And oh, by the way, systems and processes also are things in your business and in your life outside of the health and wellness piece, because a well organized business, a well organized life, either one or both having systems, processes, well thought out plans of actions, and people to help do the things. Because being you by yourself, or even maybe a couple of people, or your son Joe, who's the teenager who's just doing it because you don't know any better, you're going to be able to be in a space where you can really think about your business, your life, what you want, and how you can get it in a more reasonable, less stress, less overwhelmed way. You know, you don't need to be doing this alone. I mean, my recent podcast episode is all about quit running around with your like a chicken with your head cut off, because that's basically what you're doing. You're running around like a chicken with your head cut off because you're doing all the things. And even if you're not doing all the things and you have a couple of people doing the things, are you still managing them, telling them what to do, watching to see if it's good enough, if it's good and needs to go and is done? I mean, there is so much more to enjoying. And that's the key, enjoying your life and enjoying your business. Because if you're in business and you hate it, you might as well go back to that job in corporate world if that's where you came from and were miserable, because it's the same thing. You just brought the corporate miserable job into your world and into your business.
Yep.
And it doesn't have to be that way, because remember, it's your business. You can do it any way you want. It's your life. You can do it any way you want. And if you have the balance between the health and wellness, the self-care, and the things that Dr. Ladd teaches, and even though I'm not a health and wellness coach, if you go back through my podcast and stuff, there's episodes on self-care and there's episodes on taking a break, go for a walk, because your brain and your mind are the biggest part of what you're doing every day, whether it's life or business or both. And if you're in a tizzy, you cannot be clear, you cannot be functional, you cannot do a good job for yourself, your clients, your kids, if you have them, your family, friends, whatever it is. This is the way to bring all of that into, and I'm not a work-life balance person. I don't know if you are, Dr. Ladd. Balance is a
It's a myth.
it's a myth, because it's just, there's always ebb and flow. That's the way I look at it. It's, to kind of go down that spiritual woo-woo road, it's ebb and flow. It's, things that change is constant. I know people, that's a quote by somebody, I think. Change is constant. And if you don't learn to deal with change, deal with the problems of life and business, the headaches, the fires, the whatever, in a way that is both business and health and wellness, you're just going to be in this vicious cycle of stress, good, because you don't have the ultimate plan on both sides to make it all work better, faster, efficient, effective, all those things, and be able to do it from a place of peace. I call it ease and grace, time and space. It's one of my big things, is I am striving myself to do what I do for my clients. And I do my self-care. I have a chiropractor. I have an acupuncturist. I have a Zen practice. And I'm one of those women who's 40 plus that fits right into his category. And I know a lot of you women out there in my world that are in that place. And you need to really think about how you're approaching all of it from both sides, because it's not just one or the other. You need to have both aspects to be able to be easeful, graceful in everything you do, because life gets stressful too, right, Dr. Ladd? I mean, it's not
Yes.
just about the business. I mean, people have stressful lives. They have family things. They have, the crazy world we live in. I mean, I mean, you just turn, if anybody is still turning on the news, they can get super stressed out and that affects what they're doing in the moment. I mean, it's just, there are so many of those stressors you talked about out there in the world, in life. And it's like, you have to, if you don't really think about it, you're going to be those people that are in the hospital with heart attacks. You're going to be in the, potentially in the mental institutions with a nervous breakdown. You know, any number of things can go down that path if you're not taking care of yourself, dealing with your stress and overwhelm and all the things, the craziness in healthy ways, and getting help. And people, you need people in your life, whether it's Dr. Ladd, whether it's me and my team, it's also mentors, coaches, and friends and family members that get what you're doing, and are not naysayers and going to drag you down because, hello, that's a stressor. If you got someone going, Dr. Ladd, I think your idea is crazy. You're never going to succeed. It's like, be gone.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
need the cheerleaders. You need the people that are going to support you through the good and the bad, the ups and the downs. And even if they think your idea is crazy, if they think what you're doing is wild and weird, they keep it to themselves and support you anyway. Right? What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah. I mean, I have so many clients that they're breathing shallow and they think they're taking deep breaths or their breathing's fine. But when it comes down to it, they're really breathing from this lower part of the lungs. It's just more of a shallow breath. There's no oxygen left over for these higher centers of the brain. And so when you learn how to just every once in a while throughout the day to take a few deep breaths to get some oxygen to those higher centers of the brain, you're less likely to lead your life in a way that's going to create stress because we're in it and we don't know we're in it. And it's just what we're used to living. We don't even know that there's more until you just really just expand the chest, bring breath into the chest and oxygenate those higher centers of brain to have, again, insight, creativity, problem solving, do things a different way and just realize you're doing things in a way that's not ideal and to be able to change it and to be decisive and just to do things differently is really hard sometimes. I mean, I think change is, at least long-term change, I think it's really impossible long-term. You might be able to do it for a couple weeks or a couple months, but long-term change is really, really difficult. And so to be able to do things differently than you've always done them, maybe manage your business differently or just step out on a ledge and do things, differently than you've done it, which can be scary. You have to operate from these higher centers of the brain, which gives you that just focus, creativity, empowerment, like to get to those different levels, or else you're just going to keep limping along. I mean, how many business owners do you know that just, you keep talking to them over the years and they're in the same place they've been for years and years because they're just used to doing things a certain way. And so if you just can get out of those lower parts of the brain, those fear-based parts of the brain and have some, insight about what to do differently, it makes all the difference. And then you can go after what you've wanted to go after and pursue your dreams.
Absolutely. So you touched on a point there that I want to go a little bit deeper into without probably getting too medically speaking. But you mentioned that, most people are doing shallow breaths that don't even really, I mean, they get to the brain, but not in the way these deep breaths do. Can you kind of give us like a high level explanation of, if we're just normal breathing and it's fairly shallow and it's just kind of like, you know, obviously the whole body is getting oxygen from you breathing, but how is it different in taking those bigger breaths and letting them out? Is it like opening up your passageways, your bloodlines, those things to get more oxygen to the brain? Why
It's
is the
really,
big breath going to get more oxygen to your brain?
yeah, it's part of it is there are receptors in our body that when we take a deeper breath, it stimulates those receptors and actually stimulates a different part of the brain.
Okay.
It's not literally like you're oxygenating the brain when you take that deeper breath in. I mean, it is because you're taking in more oxygen. More oxygen goes in your blood. The oxygen is pretty tightly controlled in our blood.
Right.
And so, because if we don't get enough, we die. So it's not like it's we're struggling if we're just shallow breathing. I mean, our body gets enough to get by and to function normally with just our regular breathing. But when you take a deeper breath and expand the chest, the rib cage, it does something to our body and stimulates nerves that help our brain function differently. It's you can't be This is what's interesting with taking a deeper breath. You can't be, or it's harder to be. Many of you out there, like, I'll watch show, I'll show you. It's really hard to be really stressed and be breathing deeper. And so many of you out there, if you're really stressed, your body will shut down your breathing and it'll make you breathe shallow. The irony, right? When we need it the most, it's what our body does. If you're really stressed, it is a physiologic reflex to slow the breathing, to make it more shallow. And it goes back eons, this predator prey dynamic. We wanted to stay small, and so to not be seen or heard by the predator. How many of you want to stay small in the face of your predator, or business wise, in life, whatever? You probably don't want to stay small. You want to rise up and lift the chest and push into what it is that's making you afraid, or giving you a challenge. You want to push into it, not shrink and get small, I'm guessing. So it's an answer to your question. I mean, it's kind of a long answer to your question, but physiologically, if we're under stress or we feel stressed, to access the different part of our nervous system that isn't in fight or flight, it requires unfolding, lifting the chest, pulling in as much breath as you can, because that's the exact opposite of what stress is trying to do to our body. And it puts us in the opposite part of the brain that fear, worry, stress puts us in, puts us in those higher centers of the brain. So it's really a reflexive thing. Taking that deeper breath, lifting the chest is a reflexive thing, and it stimulates the brain, stimulates those higher centers of the brain. So you can kind of think about it that way. Does that make sense?
Oh, that makes absolute sense. I'm really, the way you put that, it's like the blood has the oxygen in it. That doesn't change. It's going to still travel to the brain. So it's not about that deep breath goes, oh, we have more oxygen in the blood, so we're going to run to the brain.
Right.
It's the receptors and the physiological reflexiveness of the body that stimulates that and changes that brain focus, which is exactly why I asked the question, because someone like me who is not medically inclined goes, okay, so a deeper breath gets more oxygen to the right part of my brain. Well, I mean, my blood flow is my blood flow. So
Yep.
how does that really work?
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I love that. And, we are coming into both a wonderful time of year and a extra stressful time of year. I mean, on a business level, it's Q4. It's coming to the end of the year. It's coming time to look forward to 2024. And while I'm not a work-life balance person, I'm also not a New Year's resolution person. I'm more about goals, intentions, and for those of you who like, a word of the year or whatever, I'm cool with that too. And there is a way to deal with all of this as it's coming on. I mean, next week is Thanksgiving. A few weeks after that is Christmas. And then lo and behold, it's 2024. And it's like, holy crap, where did it all go? And what am I doing?
Yeah.
This is a great time to get involved in and make decisions about staying healthy, getting your business in order. Because if you want to have a rock and roll in 2024, you got to do it in a way that's going to work for you and your health and wellness and everything. So,
Yeah.
Dr. Ladd, let's tell everybody about a little bit more about what you do and and what's available to them and how they can go learn more about you if they are really fascinated by your approach to this, like I am. And and I love the fact that you've got like a little 90-day program that is like easy peasy. I'm imagining it's easy
Yeah.
peasy
We make it
to
easy.
get involved in, because me, easy peasy, ease and grace, they kind of go together. And
Nice.
it's, because also this time of the year, they may not want to make a long-term commitment of, so I got to work with you for a year, Dr. Ladd. I mean, no offense, but
Mm.
tell us more
Yep.
about that.
Yeah. Yeah. So again, going back to how change is really, really difficult for most people. Again, you might do it for a couple weeks or a couple months, but I created a process that really is about pulling out all the stops, making it almost fail safe to be able to get healthier and lose weight. But the focus has been recently on helping those people who've really had a challenge getting healthier and losing weight. As we get older, hormones change and it gets even harder. I think weight loss, as hard as it is for a lot of people, you get
Oh,
to
yes.
perimenopause, menopause, hormones change, it almost becomes impossible. So I thought we've got to help these people. Let's plot all the stops and create this dream team. And yes, personal trainer. Yes, a really highly trained, functional nutritionist that has to happen. You got to eat right. You got to exercise, know how to do that. But bringing this stress piece that we've talked about, and stress has such a powerful effect on our body, on our physiology. You've got to solve that. You have to figure out how to navigate the world differently to decrease stress's effect on your body, and so your cortisol doesn't spike. But bringing in, I have a weight loss psychotherapist as part of the team that really deals with that sliver of the mind of how our motivation works, our relationship with food, and our body and exercise, like fixing how, because food is it goes deep, culturally, it's physiologic, it's a drug, it's figuring out that aspect of food, having an expert work with you on that level is really, really powerful. So it's 90-day process of working with each one of these experts, holding your hand to help you in a way that works for you, in line with your preferences, your specific body and biology, to know what to eat, when to eat, how to eat, to know how to move, when to move, or how much or how little exercise to do, but also to deal with your stress and shift, from that lower stress based part of the brain to just this part of the brain where you have creativity and positivity and potential is incredible. So it's this 90-day process to shift that, and working with you on a weekly basis with different members of my team. It's not just this group coaching thing. It's a one-on-one high touch, process that people go through. And so, yeah, if anybody's out there that's tried everything and nothing works for them, that's why I created this process, to make sure we're hitting it from all different sides. And it's the collaborative approach that makes it so powerful. So to work with me, my website's drladd.com. It's just drladd.com. And it just, you can schedule a consult with me. I'm willing to talk to you and just kind of get to know your situation a little bit and see if this process is right for you, answer any questions for you.
Well, and I love, something you hit on for someone like me is how much exercise to do or not to do. What kind
Mm-hmm.
of exercise to do or not to do.
Mm-hmm.
Not okay, we're going to get you on a treadmill and you're going to run 30 minutes a day, and then you're going to go lift weights for 30 days, and then you're going to go do some Pilates, and then and it's like, okay, you're going to grind me into the ground. And I'm not someone who's really fond of exercise anyway. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Some people we have to tell to
that
back
makes me
off.
fail before we ever get started.
Yeah. Yes. We got to tell some people to back off, and they're doing too much exercise, and it's actually stressing their system out even more. So just knowing where that fine line is, it's really, really important.
Very good, very good. And I would imagine all of this also includes looking at sleep habits and things, because that is another piece of really good health and wellness. Because one of the things I've learned from many health experts over the years is, it's always been trendy diet number one. Oh, I lost 50 pounds and then I stopped that diet and oh, I put 50 back on or even more. Or it's like work yourself to death. You're exercising an hour a day, every day, doing hardcore exercise. And while you might lose the weight, you're tearing up your body and other things. And it's like, you, someone once told me, one of the health experts I've talked to or listened to is they said one of the first things that's going to start this healing process, that's going to allow you to lose weight naturally and effectively, is getting your sleep in order, sleeping right, sleeping 8 hours, getting restful sleep. And and the diet thing that you meant, you're not going to, we're going to put you on Atkins or we're going to put you on this trending diet. It's like, we're going to work with you, your body, your thing, and make sure, it's not going to be a cookie cutter program.
Right.
Anybody who knows me, I am very anti cookie cutter program. So definitely you're in my vibe. You're in my, it's like, ooh, this is exciting. I may have to go to your website and sign up. Because I'm one of those women in over 40, and I struggle every time I turn around and I do something, and I definitely do things from a health and wellness perspective and mostly alternative health perspective. I mean, I do have a regular doctor for annual checkups and things like that, blood work to make sure all my blood work's good, all those things. And because I've learned so many lessons from health experts and people like you about naturopathic ways, Zen practices, meditation, mindfulness, all these different things. It's like you can pull all this together and really make a well-rounded program that can do stress relief, sleep, eat, exercise, lose weight. Because I can tell you from my experience in the level of life that I'm in with, being 56, postmenopause, and working in my own business and haven't been for years. I've gone through this week was a stressful week, to be honest, Dr. Ladd. I really needed that breathing exercise you gave in the beginning, because I had a client and they had a client who went on fire, as we call it. It was a big fire and we were all in reaction. Oh gosh, we got to fix this mode. We've got to make the client happy. We got to do this. We got to do that. And everybody's like, get on the call, get on Zoom. Da, 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 da. I mean, and it was a frenzy. And it's like, whew, just that little exercise. I'm like, dang. And your explanation of the brain and the oxygen getting to it, it's like, I've been through different kinds of things for my health, my wellness, and my weight loss. And it's like that little treadmill thing I told you, get on a diet, lose 50 pounds, get off the diet, gain them back. Even if you don't do anything different, your body changes. The older you get, the more your body changes. Randomly, more so than when you were young. I've been up and down on that weight scale myself. And it's like, but I didn't really change anything. Why isn't it working now? Why is it coming back? Because that gets into the hormones, the diet, the change in stress, the various things that you need to look at. And your program, it sounds like, is going to do something like that. Someone who's been up and down that wheel of whether they've done it natural or diet trends or whatever, some things just stop working, no matter how dedicated you are to it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hormones play such a powerful, powerful role in our metabolism, our weight loss, and stress just really takes things to another level and screws up our hormones that much more. And so for somebody who just, hey, I eat a salad and I don't lose weight, or eat salads all day and don't lose weight, or I gain weight, eat a salad, that is the person that's their stress is what's screwing up their hormones and causing, a lot of it's just water retention and, different, molecules in the body that do that based on hormones. But it's just incredible to shift what's happening stress wise to balance hormones from that angle as well.
I love it. All righty. Well, and then of course there is the get the other help kind of a thing. It's like, take a look. Once you've gotten into unstress mode through just that simple breathing exercise, and you have the minute to look at yourself, look at your life, look at your business, you can literally take the time to brain dump, as I like to call it, all the stuff you're doing that you don't want to do, can't do, shouldn't do, whatever you want to call it, both in life and business, and figure out what to do with that, to hire people, to get, yes, I was kind of bad mouthing the son Joe, who's a teenager who does a half-assed job. But there might be another way for your son Joe to help you get out of this mess that's more appropriate for him and his skill set and your life and business. But it's also about taking action on the things that only you need to take action on, and finding the people to help you do the rest. And also getting, you've got Dr. Ladd as an option for your health and wellness and that side of things. There's coaches, consultants, strategists, masterminds, all those things out there to help with. I've been in business 14 years now. I've been through coaching programs, both one-to-one, group, and I am gravitating more and more toward the masterminds that are a group of people, of businesses of all kinds, of all success levels, coming together to have discussions like this. I mean, honestly, Dr. Ladd, we're having a very mini mastermind here. We are talking about, ways to better our life and business from our experiences, mine in my business and what I do for people, you in your business, what you do for people, but yours is health and wellness. Mine is business support, services, all those things. And it's like, this is the way to get the help you need in a well-rounded way. And it's not like, oh, well, you need to go do this, that, and the other, and you need to talk to this person, and you need to go do this. It's like, we're not going to get cookie cutter here, and we're not going to, and here's the other thing, and I'm sure you're this way too, Dr. Ladd. If they talk to us and it's not a fit, that's okay. We're not going to be pushy salespeople. We're not going to say, oh, well, you really need to hire us. The only way you're going to get better, or your only way you're going to make your business run better, is by hiring me or by hiring Dr. Ladd. Have the conversation. Go to drladd.com, go to SophieZo.com, my website. Check us out, see what you think. And if it seems like a fit, we both have free consultations that you can get on. And like me, Dr. Ladd and I are neither one going to go pressure you into buying our program or working with us, because it's got to be a fit. If you force yourself into something, ooh, that's another stressor, right, Dr. Ladd?
Yeah. Don't do that. Yeah.
Yeah. First, she's like, oh, well, I've got to do this with this person and nobody else. And then you get into that and you're like, oh my God, I'm miserable. And there you are, back in stress mode. So, it's a way to get the help you need on two different perspectives. And, and like I said, Dr. Ladd reached out to me in a very genuine, authentic, collaborative way. And, and he didn't even, well, actually, you've never pitched for your services to me, Dr. Ladd. We never even had that discussion. And that went both ways. I didn't go, hey, Dr. Ladd, nice to meet you. You want to hire me and my company to help you in your business? It was so authentic, genuine, and just like down to earth. And that's the way I like to operate. Clearly he does too, because we wouldn't be having this call if he hadn't.
Yep.
Because, when I get those people that pitch me, I'm like, spam, bye, block.
Yeah.
And, come talk to us, and if we can't help you, we can point you in directions where you might get help elsewhere. But take the time, especially now, to get through the holidays, get into next year, and start next year off on the right foot to have the success you desire. And my thing is success defined by you and only you. I'm not going to tell you what your success is. He's not going to tell you. Are you going to tell him how much? Are you going to tell him to lose 50 pounds and do this, that, and the other? Are you going to tell him what to do? Nope. It's define what you need, what you want, and let's see if we can work with you and help you get there. And if we can't, then we'll point you in another direction, or we'll say, maybe try this, maybe try that. But no matter what, get the help you need, get the support you need, get those people in your life now, and get started now, and get through those holidays with much more fun and zeal than you might if you don't. Because the holidays are important, even when holidays are stressful, because, there's lots of things going on in world and families and whatnot. And sometimes the holidays really aren't that fun. But if you step into finding the people to support you in your business and your life that take that stress out of there, it makes it much easier to get through the holidays, whether they're fun for you or not. Mm-hmm. And it helps you, because I don't know what your experience is with SAD, seasonal affective disorder. And I would imagine you can work with that because
Yep.
this is that time of year as well.
Mhm.
I know several people, I have many people in my life that this is that time of year where sad kicks in and they need that extra help, but they need they need the kind of help that's going to fit their needs and fit them. And it's not going to be just like, I'll sit in a chair and talk to me and then here's some medicine to take.
Yeah. 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 There's other ways. Yeah.
There's other ways to do this, and there is no time like the present. And oh, FYI, this is not a pre Black Friday sale, any of that.
Yeah.
I'm not. We're not setting you up for. Oh well, Black Friday's coming. This is no. This is a come to us when you're ready. Check us out. Follow us on social media. He's on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. Dr. Ladd, are you on the other platforms?
So a little bit of LinkedIn, a little bit of Instagram, a few places here and there. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Go check us out. You never know what you're going to find. You never know what you're going to see. And you might find the solution to your stress, your overwhelm, your burnout. Because, Dr. Ladd, in your world, how frequently do you see the burnout, the overwhelm? And
It's
not
every day.
just the women over 40, but just in general.
Every day. And that's why people come to me, is because they've done everything else and they're at a place where I'm just, man, I'm burned out. I don't know what to do. And so that's just, unfortunately, that's kind of the population I end up dealing with. And so I have to know how to navigate those scenarios and shift that person's physiology back and just help them get on the horse again.
Yes, yes. Because it seems like the not only the older we get as individual human beings, but the older the world gets, the way the thing the way life shifts in the world itself, not just here in America but worldwide, literally worldwide. It's all ever changing, good and bad, up and down. And stress and burnout and overwhelm is so prevalent all over, and it really is time that people take care of themselves and think about themselves over other things. Because I know, my kids are grown and gone, but I'm still a mom and now I'm a grandma. And, there are times where, it's like self sacrifice. Well, it's everything for the kids, everything for my husband, everything for everybody else but me.
Yeah.
That is a huge, huge rabbit hole to go down and get stuck in, and really need, like Dr. Ladd, to get you out of it, to get you healthy again. Because when you're self-sacrificing to that point, it is unhealthy. And that unhealthiness affects everything you do, your life, your business, your relationships, all of it. So,
Don't you
you
feel
know,
like women are trained to take care of everybody else? I mean, it's just part of the wiring, right? You
oh,
just
it
want
is.
to
I
take care
mean,
and nurture everybody else but yourself.
oh yeah. I was that woman raising my kids with my husband. I was not a single mom, thankfully. I can't imagine having been a single mom. I don't know where I'd be if I had been. I'm grateful my husband was there, but that only goes so far too, because women are trained to be the mom, to be there for the kids. It's mom does everything until they get to a certain age, and then sometimes dad kicks in, or sometimes everything. It just depends. But there was, for the longest time, I was that self-sacrificing mom. I took care of everybody but myself. I put everybody's needs first. And I wasn't god awful unhealthy, but I certainly wasn't healthy. And I certainly was not in the mental space as well that I'm in now, because I discovered, of all things, some people are like, oh, this is a great thing, and oh, that's quackery, but the thing that triggered me to understand that I come first, that self-care is not selfish, and that the only way I can be that to my family is to take care of myself, was reading The Secret.
Mm,
That was my trigger that went, oh my God,
mm,
I can
yeah.
put myself first. I can take care of myself. I can do these things that are, I know a lot of people are like, oh, that's supernatural. It's like, okay. I tried the stuff. It works. If
Mhm.
you have an open mind and you're willing to try alternative things, different things, like Dr. Ladd said, it's like you've tried everything, whether
Yeah.
it's Western medicine, vitamins over the counter, working yourself to death workout wise, you've hit those walls.
Yeah. Yep.
It's time, try something else and
Mm.
get it going now to prepare for Thanksgiving next week, Christmas, the new year, and having the best 2024 you can have.
Yes.
So,
Yes.
oh my goodness, Dr. Ladd, we've
Nice.
been rambling for 45 minutes. I don't even know if anybody's watching anymore.
It's been a blast. It's been a
It's
blast.
been a blast, and we've just had this conversation has just been so much fun. And so just, I mean, we could probably talk for hours on this
Oh
and
yeah.
everybody be like, would y'all get off?
We'll
Oh,
let them get
so
on to their holiday preparations.
yeah, let them, well, their weekend and then holiday preparations, because next week is it. And I don't, some people are taking the whole week off, some are not. But, any final thoughts, Dr. Ladd, before we say goodbye and let people get back to their day?
There's so much potential that we have if we can tap into it. Our bodies are incredible. There's so much potential in the mind. And I'm a big believer in that. And I hate to see people not able to access their potential. And that's what really lights me up. I'd love to help anybody who's listening to, we'll talk about that and see what's possible for them.
I love it. Thank you so much. So again, that's drladd.com, drladd.com, or SophieZo.com, SophieZo, Z as in zebra, O.com. Check us out. See if it's a fit for you. Have a call with us. You never know what you'll find out. And have a great weekend, Dr. Ladd. And, maybe we'll start doing this a little bit more often and start really letting people know what it's like to be able to have the life of their dreams without stress, overwhelm, and burnout.
Love it. It's been fun. Thank you so much.
All righty. Thanks, Dr. Ladd. I'll see you next time around.
That sounds good.
Bye, everybody.